Kendra Jones.
And I'm Hannah Morel.
And this is our analysis of CostaVideo versus Chipotle.
And
So our situation, CostaVideo and Chipotle have been historically successful competitors in the fast casual dining Mexican style food market. So as you can see here, they've both experienced periods of growth, and they have both been growing, but growth has been slowing down. So Chipotle's expansion pace has moderated since the beginning, but it's been consistently rising for 4 straight years, and it's now adding annual locations at an 8% annual clip. And CostaVideo's footprint started out really great, but its expansion has tapered off, and it had a 0 net growth between 2023 and 2024.
And while both restaurants have found success in their strategies, you can see by this data that Chipotle significantly outpaces CostaVideo in both revenue, locations, and just overall popularity. And so if you look at this table right here, you can see that Chipotle made a revenue of $11.3 billion in 2024, and CostaVideo only made $229.1 million. But we believe that this isn't necessarily because CostaVideo lacks like a strong brand. It's just because they have a lot less locations, as you can see. Chipotle has over 3,000 locations, and CostaVideo has less than 100. And what's interesting is that in places like Utah, where CostaVideo has a stronger brand presence, they actually have more locations than Chipotle. And so that is our major complication of this.
So the question that arises from this is, how can CostaVideo close the gap in revenue and locations, especially locations with Chipotle, to become a leading competitor in the fast casual Mexican style food market?
And our solution is that CostaVideo should prioritize expanding into states like Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and increase their brand presence in Utah, where they already have a really strong foothold. And so we believe that there are a lot of growth opportunities in these states because there's not as much of a strong presence of Chipotle, and they don't have to compete head to head. And we believe that establishing regional dominance will be able to serve as a strong foundation for them to grasp.
Exactly. So CostaVideo and Chipotle compete physically in very different markets. As you can see from this map, the orange is CostaVideo and the gray is Chipotle. But you can see that Chipotle competes in high density markets such as California and Texas and Florida very strongly. But as you can see in Utah and in surrounding states, it competes less strongly because there's a lower density population. And that gives CostaVideo a good opportunity to expand into these states. So Chipotle is dominating the high density markets, but CostaVideo has a great opportunity to expand there. So, and as you can tell too, population and thus demand in these states that we talked about, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico, are growing steadily, especially in Arizona, as you can see. So that means there will be increasing foot traffic and revenue potential for CostaVideo locations. And these states are attracting a lot of younger mobile professionals and families, which means they're looking for this type of food when they are eating. Yeah, they're looking for these kinds of opportunities that CostaVideo can expand on.
And to add to that, when we were looking into states to capitalize on, we wanted to make sure that the consumer trends for fast food are very similar to Utah. And so we looked up some health preferences statistics, and we realized that because CostaVideo positions themselves as a healthier dining option, this will align great with the consumer preferences for fresh and nutritious options in Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, because they have very similar spending habits as Utah. And so, especially in places like Colorado where health is really valued, we believe that while they have like a really strong brand presence in Utah, they'll be able to carry that over to these places because of those similar habits. And along with that, one limitation that we ran into when we were considering this is that there's not a lot of recognition for CostaVideo as its brand, as being a healthy fast food alternative. As you can see in this graph, this shows the amount of CostaVideo locations compared to Chipotle locations, and the only place where CostaVideo has a stronger presence is in Utah. And so that is just because they don't really have a lot of locations in these other places, and Chipotle does, but which is why we think that this is important. And so we believe that this is possible for them to work on when they're expanding, as long as they use a lot of strategic marketing efforts when doing this to make sure that everyone really understands what they're standing for with their brand. And in summary, we believe that the population growth in Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado are great opportunities for CostaVideo to expand into these states. The health-conscious consumers in all of these states are looking for fresh, affordable options that align with what CostaVideo offers. And CostaVideo's limited presence outside of Utah does present a unique opportunity for brand expansion, and it's a great way for CostaVideo to have more locations, therefore increasing their revenue. And we believe that successful expansion will come as long as they have the right strategic marketing, franchising, and targeted site selection.
Thank you.
So, thank you guys. Yeah.